Today we will continue our discussion on pulleys. In the previous class, we have looked at two examples of pulleys. One is the single fixed pulley with a mechanical advantage of just one, which means that whatever effort that you apply, the load will be exactly equal to the effort. The effort will be equal to load in this case. The only advantage of a single fixed pulley is that it changes the direction in which you apply the force, and that is a significant advantage as it is. Then we looked at the single movable pulley along with a fixed pulley, only to change the direction in which you are applying the force, has a mechanical advantage of 2. We have discussed this in the previous class. Why it is so? Because there are two tensions in the two ropes that are supporting it, and because these two ropes are ideally parallel to one another, therefore T1 should be equal to T2, therefore they have to be half of mg. So if this T2 is the one that is supported by the effort, then that should be equal to half mg, thereby giving you a mechanical advantage of 2. That's great. By applying an effort half the quantity of the load, you are able to lift the load or balance the load. In this case, balance the load. Now the point is that there cannot be, according to the law of conservation of energy, an increase or decrease in the force at the input side and the output side. In other words, the work done on the input side should be equal to the work done on the output side. So therefore, what is work done on the input side? That will be the effort multiplied by the distance moved by the effort. And in this case, so now we are not talking about the situation in which there is no movement. And let us say that the situation has now changed. You are talking in terms of moving the weight by using the single movable pulley. So there is this weight mg, and it's connected through another pulley. Of course, I wanted to show you that we actually don't require this other pulley. If we can do it in a slightly different way. Okay, if you can do it like that, then you don't need the second single fixed pulley, the fixed pulley that is there over here. That is only to change the direction in which you are applying the force. Okay, so the point now being that when this happens, and you are moving this, so there is a movement that is taking place in the upward direction, but it is moving with a constant velocity. There is no acceleration. So it's moving up at a constant speed. So it's still a situation of equilibrium. Sigma f is equal to 0 even in this situation. Only thing is, it is dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so he's pulling it up with a uniform velocity. So don't worry about the velocity part of it. Still the equilibrium condition holds. Then you can say that the effort multiplied by the distance moved by the effort arm, the load multiplied by the distance moved by the load, that will be in the ratio, because load upon effort is equal to 2, because the same conditions apply, right? So over here there is T1, over here there is T2, and the person is applying a force, pulling a force in the upward direction. That is his effort. This is the load. So since he is only supporting T2, T2 must be equal to half of mg. So that will be equal to half mg. Okay. So because of that, the ratio between the load and the effort is equal to 2. If the ratio between the load and the effort is equal to 2, then the ratio between the distance moved by the effort arm and the load arm should also be equal to 2. What do you understand from this situation? What can you say? That is my question. So Shravan and Krishna are invited to have a crack at this. So most of you, when asked the question, a student Krishna gave the explanation that what that means is that if you pull the effort side, the rope by 1 meter, then the object actually moves by only half a meter upwards. Okay, so this is a little bit of a confusing thing generally, because it's a question of visualizing what happens. We have done the experiment and we have seen it, but still, again, when it comes in a theoretical form, it's still a little bit hazy for people. However, most people seem to agree with what Krishna said, that yes, that is what should be happening, because that is what this means. If the distance between the effort's movement and the load's movement, the ratio of that, if it is 2, that means the effort has to move twice the amount of the load. Okay, or half, the load will only climb half the amount of the effort, however you want to put it. But there are a few who said that I know it is supposed to be like this, but I'm not very sure why it is like that. So I'm asking if any one of the students can explain this. Why is it that when the effort is pulled up by say 1 meter, the load will go up only by half a meter? How do you explain that? What's a good way to convince others that it is going to be so, other than of course demonstrating?
Can I give it a try?
Please.
Okay, so when you pull the rope by 1 meter, the both the sides of the pulley, like the pulley has, you could say, 2 ropes, right? Like it has only one, but one is yeah. uh, can you the rope with the side of the rope with tension 1 and the side of the rope with tension 2, both of them move by half meter, which will uh, which is the amount of force you use to like pull it. Therefore, the body only goes halfway, like of the effort.
Okay. In a way, what you are saying gave me an idea of how better to explain it with a diagram. But okay, did everybody understand what Sonia said? Or does anybody have a question to ask her? So she's saying it's obvious to her basically. So she's saying I can see that when this pulley rotates and then it goes up, if this person pulled the rope up by 1 meter, then the pulley's rotation will cause half meter to go from here and half meter to go up over here. So therefore the net movement of the pulley will be only half meter. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, or some of you may still be left with the question. If it is clear to everybody, then I don't want to explore the other option, because that is an,
Sir,
yeah.
isn't it the same as when the pulley is like stuck up?
Isn't it the same as when the pulley is stuck up? No, not quite. Yeah, that's a good question to ask also. Why is this situation different from this situation, right? Because in this situation, mechanical advantage is 1. That means that the load and the effort is equal to 1. So therefore the distance arm and the distance moved by the effort and load arm, the ratio will also be equal to 1, which means if you pull this by 1 meter, this will also go up by 1 meter. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're basically saying that if that is the argument that is used, then shouldn't the same argument apply here also, right? So that doesn't seem to explain.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to explain that. Yeah. But no, it can be obvious to people that it is so, but they may not be, it's not possible. I find it difficult myself to convince students. I have been teaching this for many, many years, but every year I get a little bit stuck. I think I may have cracked it this year actually. So let me try this. I may have done it before and forgotten about it. I don't know, but I just got a brain wave. Okay, so let me try. Does anybody want to give it a shot, or shall I go for my explanation? Experimental explanation. So it's like exploring a little bit in terms of art to do this. I mean, art in the sense the drawings itself, whether the drawing itself reveals the answer. Okay. And let us take an approach that is based on sort of logic and reasoning. So inquiry based. And this is reductio ad absurdum. let us say, hopefully this will work. Let us say that this was the original situation. Let us forget about the person and the weight and all that. Okay, we just keep it that there is an effort being applied in this direction and there is a load in this direction. Has it gone off the screen? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll take a scenario. We know that the situation, the ratio of the effort arm and the load arm, or the distance moved by the effort and distance moved by the load is 2. But we are not able to convince ourselves that if you lift this up by 1 meter, this is only going to go up by half a meter. Okay, so assume that, let it go up by 1 meter. Okay, so it was like this. Then the rope got pulled up by this 1 meter on the effort side. And let's say that the pulley also went up by the same 1 meter. Okay, so a little bit of scaling. So the new position of the pulley, let me draw this a little tighter. Okay, so the new position of the pulley should therefore be here, correct? Okay. Now let us see what absurdity comes over here. So that means that the pulley's rope will go in like this and come out like that. So if you take this bit of the pulley, right? Sorry, the rope, not the pulley. The pulley has gone now. Okay. And you open it up. What will be the length of this? So let us say you open this up and you make it this length. What will that length be? This, of course, again, Shravan and Krishna will have to take the first go at it. Would you like me to explain the question again?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, let us work it out in a way in which we arrive at the solution by taking the absurd or the obvious answer. So let us say you pulled up, so this is the pulley system, the pulley was at this height, then you pull this up by 1 meter. So I'm showing the second situation here. The rope got pulled up by 1 meter, which means for us at the moment, let us say argue that the pulley went up by 1 meter. So let's say the pulley went up by the same 1 meter that you pulled the rope up by. So the new position of the pulley will be there, which means the extended section of the rope through which it has moved is this much. So if you open that up, I'm asking, what is the length of this rope supposed to be? If this is 1 meter approximately, and the pulley's new position is this, so that means the pulley has traversed this much distance and gone up, right?
1 meter.
Yeah?
1 meter.
1 meter. How? Because this side is 1 meter and this side is 1 meter. So what will it be?
2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter, sorry.
2 meters. Okay. So now this has become the Indian rope trick. Why? Because you pull up a rope by 1 meter, the pulley moves up by 1 meter, and the amount of rope that it has traversed is 2 meters. Then how is that possible? You can easily see that if it is 1 meter, it can be 1 meter, maybe it is half meter, I do not know, but definitely 1 meter movement cannot produce 2 meters of rope to be traversed. Is that clear? Is that part clear? Or is there a question about it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to hear if any. Okay, let me put it the other way around. So therefore, I'm asking, if it is not clear, then tell me now. If now the solution is staring at you in the face, then tell me what is the solution. Somebody is saying, Mevcha is saying, Darpin is saying. So Darpin, can you answer that now? Whatever you sent in chat, can you just say it out aloud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you raise it by 1 meter, the effort, the pulley will only 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So the pulley will only will only raise up half a meter, because when it has two sides, right? The U.
Yeah.
So the 0.5 meter plus 0.5 meter will add up to 1 meter, which is the effort wala 1 meter.
Exactly.
It has to be equal after all.
Yeah, so they have to equalize. Okay, so therefore now this is an absurd situation. So you can say that obviously this is not going to happen. This cannot happen, because if you pull up the rope by 1 meter, it cannot traverse 2 meters of the rope. The pulley cannot traverse 2 meters of the rope. That is not possible. So what would be the accurate situation? The accurate situation would of course be if the pulley moved up by half the distance. Okay, so if the pulley moved up only by half the distance, and therefore is half a meter, now the extra length of the pulley from here to here, so I'll have to just tap that down a little bit, cut this out a little bit, and then this distance, it will be equal to 1 meter. Okay, now it makes sense, because you pull the rope up by 1 meter, the traverse of the pulley was also 1 meter. So therefore half a meter on this side and half a meter on this side. But still again, this is again a little bit of a logical or an rationality based solution. The best thing is to actually see it. When you see it, it's only then that you get how it actually happens, because the pulley turns, right? So it actually moves up a little bit on this side, and the same amount it moves up on the other side. And when you actually watch that with a scale placed behind it, that's when you eventually get convinced about the whole thing. So hopefully the two arguments, the mathematical argument, the logical argument, and the rationality based
I think for getting fully convinced, you have to do it, like demonstrate it.
Exactly. If you are still not fully convinced, it's okay. You can still answer questions based, using this logic and so on. But a demonstration might help. You can, of course, look up demonstrations on YouTube and so on. There must be lots of demonstrations showing how this works, and convince yourself at that point from that point. So therefore, if you have a single movable pulley with a mechanical advantage of 2, the only way that the work input and the work output would balance each other out is by the effort. If it is half the load, then the distance moved by the load will have to be half of the distance moved by the effort. That is the only way in which the equation can hold true. And yes, you can see that in practice experimentally also, that is in ideal conditions true, but it will approximately be correct even in non-ideal situations. Okay, so I think we have thrashed that one to death, so we will stop here, and in tomorrow's class we will go to the other part, the multiple movable pulleys and how that is an advantage, and also the block and tackle system.